I want to tell you about the most honest thing I have ever done. And the most dishonest thing. And how they turned out to be the same thing. Same moment, same evening in November, same kitchen with the rain coming down outside and James's best friend standing 3 feet away from me, saying something true out loud for the first time in 3 years. But to get there, I have to tell you about the 3 years first. 3 years of a very specific kind of discipline, I suppose. The discipline of being in the same room as someone and not looking at them too long. Of laughing at the right things without turning toward them when you laugh. Of knowing, without having to look, exactly where in the room a person is standing at any given moment. I got very good at it. His name was Marcus, my husband's best friend. James and Marcus had known each other since they were 14. 20 years of history, camping trips and college visits, and the kind of friendship that has its own language, its own private shorthand. The kind where one person can say half a sentence and the other already knows where it ends. When I married James, Marcus was best man. He stood up there in a navy suit that didn't quite fit right in the shoulders, and he gave a speech that made half the room cry and the other half laugh. And I thought, James is lucky to have someone who knows him like that. I had no idea, standing there in my wedding dress, that 18 months later, I would be carefully calibrating how long I was allowed to make eye contact with that same person. Life has a way of arranging things you didn't ask for.
The first year, I thought he was simply fine. A good person. Someone I liked well enough. James loved him, which meant I was inclined to like him, which meant I did. Nothing complicated about it. Marcus came for dinner maybe once a month. He was good company, funny in a dry way. Not the kind of person who needs to hold the room, but also not the kind who disappears into corners. He asked questions and actually listened to the answers. He remembered things. 3 weeks after I mentioned offhand that I'd been reading a particular book, he brought it up again. Not in a showy way, just he remembered. James remembered things too. I want to be fair about this. James was a good husband. Is a good husband. Was. Is. The tense is complicated, and I'll come back to that. I noticed Marcus the way you notice a piece of furniture that's always been there, comfortably, without much thought. And then there was a birthday dinner. James's 36th. 8 of us at a restaurant on the east side. The kind of place with good wine and lighting that makes everyone look like a better version of themselves. We were halfway through the main course when I made a joke. A small one, nothing clever. Something about something James's colleague had said earlier in the week that I'd been holding on to because it seemed like the kind of thing that would land at a table like this. It landed. The table laughed. And Marcus laughed differently from everyone else. Not louder, actually quieter. But he looked at me when he laughed, for just a second, with an expression I'd never seen on his face before. Like he was noticing something he hadn't noticed until that exact moment. And then it was over. He looked away. The conversation moved on. Someone ordered another bottle of wine. I filed it somewhere and moved on. That's what I told myself. That's what I told myself for the next 3 years.
Here is what 3 years of discipline looks like from the inside. You arrive at a dinner party and you know within 30 seconds that he's already there. Not because you looked for him, but because you just know. The way you know when the temperature in a room has changed. You put your coat down. You say hello to people. You are warm and present and entirely yourself. You do not walk toward him first. You speak to him the same way you speak to everyone else at the table, easily, comfortably, with the same light warmth you'd give to any person you'd known for several years and liked well enough. You laugh at the right moments. You disagree with him occasionally, which matters, because never disagreeing would be its own kind of tell. You do not think about the fact that when he disagrees with you back, he does it in a way that suggests he finds the disagreement interesting rather than inconvenient. You do not think about that. You go home with your husband. You have a normal evening. You go to sleep. You do this approximately once or twice a month for 3 years. The thing I didn't understand at first, the thing that took me an embarrassingly long time to understand, was that this kind of discipline requires a tremendous amount of energy. You don't notice it while it's happening because the energy is coming from somewhere you didn't know you had. But eventually, you start to feel it. A low-grade exhaustion that doesn't go away with sleep. A sense of performing a version of your own life. James noticed nothing. James notices a great many things, but he does not notice the things he doesn't expect to be there. Marcus. I didn't know about Marcus for a long time. That's the honest answer. I watched him carefully, the way you watch carefully when you're not supposed to be watching, and I couldn't tell. He was consistently, relentlessly normal. Warm with James, easy with me, present without being pointed. Once I caught him looking. It was a summer evening, a barbecue at someone's garden, and I was standing with 2 people I didn't know very well, and I felt it before I turned. That particular sensation of being looked at by someone who knows they shouldn't be looking. I turned, just slightly, enough to scan the garden without making it obvious. He was already looking away, but I saw the moment just before, when he realized I was about to turn. The fraction of a second when he decided to look away. I filed that too. I was running out of places to put things.
The second year brought his divorce. I'm not going to tell you the details of Marcus's marriage, because they aren't mine to tell. What I'll say is that it was the kind of divorce that happens when 2 people want fundamentally different things and took too long to say so out loud. It wasn't violent or dramatic. It was just 2 people slowly realizing they had been standing in different rooms for years, and the door between them had somehow closed without anyone deciding to close it. He was at our house more that year. James wanted to be there for him. That's the kind of man James is, steady and present when people need him. And so Marcus came for dinner, and sometimes stayed late, and I made extra food and made sure there was always something to drink, and I listened to the particular silence of a person who is going through something they don't know how to talk about yet. Watching someone go through real pain changes how you see them. Before the divorce, Marcus had been, in the private geography of my own head, a problem I managed, a presence I navigated, something to be careful around. During the divorce year, he became a person. Not that he hadn't been before, but pain has a way of stripping the manageable version of someone away and showing you the actual architecture underneath. What they do when things are hard, whether they get smaller or whether they find something in themselves that was there all along. Marcus got quieter, not withdrawn, just quieter. He held his private life more carefully. He was almost entirely fine in company, and then occasionally, when James stepped out of the room or answered the phone, there would be a moment where the fine fell away and something rawer was there instead. He never complained. He never asked to be consoled. He just continued to exist with everything he was carrying
in a way I found almost unbearably recognizable. Late one evening, James had fallen asleep in front of the television, which he does when he's had a long week, just tips sideways and that's it. Marcus and I were standing in the kitchen doing the dishes, not because the dishes needed doing, just because we were both still awake and it gave us somewhere to put our hands. He said, "Do you ever wonder if you chose right in marriage?" I kept washing the glass I was washing. "Everyone wonders that sometimes," I said. "That's not a yes or a no." "No, it isn't." He dried a plate, set it on the counter. "I don't wonder about James," I said. "I wonder about myself, whether I'm the right person for him." Marcus looked at me. Not the managed look, the real one. The one I'd seen once at a summer barbecue and filed away. "That's a very specific kind of doubt," he said. "Yes, it is." The conversation ended. We dried the last plates, said goodnight. He drove home. I lay awake for a long time. This time, I didn't tell myself nothing had happened. I told myself, this is the line. You stay on this side of it. I stayed on that side of it for another year.
The third year was quieter. The divorce finalized in the spring. Marcus found an apartment, small, he said, but with good light, and settled into something that looked like a new rhythm. He came for dinner less often, but more easily, without the weight the year before had carried. The version of him that could laugh without effort started coming back. I relaxed, slightly. This was a mistake. When you have been very careful for a very long time, careful starts to feel like your natural state. The effort becomes invisible. And when the effort becomes invisible, you forget that it was ever effort at all, which means you stop maintaining it. I forgot. Slowly, over the course of months, I stopped watching myself so closely. Not dramatically, not obviously. I was simply less managed around him, more natural. I told myself this was fine. We had found an equilibrium. Whatever the thing had been had settled into something I could live alongside. I believed this completely. And then there was November. James was in Boston, a conference he went to every year, 4 days, always the same hotel with the terrible Wi-Fi that he complained about every single time and went back to every single time. Marcus called on the second evening to check whether James had landed. He'd had a missed call and been worried. I told him James was fine, probably in meetings. And then, before I'd quite decided to, I said I was a bit rattled by the quiet of the apartment. He said, "Come for dinner. I'm making pasta and there's too much of it." I should have said no. The version of me from 2 years ago would have said no without hesitating, would have found a reason and said it easily and not thought about it afterward. But I had spent a year forgetting to be careful. I said, okay. His apartment was in a part of the city I didn't usually go to. Quieter streets, good trees, a neighborhood that moved at a different pace than mine. He'd put up shelves. There were books on them, more books than I would have guessed, and a photograph on the windowsill of him and James from what looked like many years ago, both of them younger and squinting into sun. He cooked. It was good. The easy, confident cooking of someone who does it because it makes them happy, not because they're trying to impress anyone. We ate at the kitchen table, and the conversation was... it was easy in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. We talked about work, about a book we'd both read recently, which neither of us had known about the other, and which produced 20 minutes of genuine surprised delight at how much we agreed.
about his mother, who was getting older and who he worried about quietly, in the way children worry about their parents when they've started paying attention. He asked me things, real questions, the kind that assume you have something worth saying. I asked him things back. Somewhere in the third hour, I was mid-sentence, and I just stopped. I looked at him across the table, and I thought, I have been in love with you for 3 years. Not as a revelation, not as a shock, as an acknowledgement of something I had known for a long time and had simply refused to name. I finished my sentence. He responded, and then there was a pause, the particular kind.
The one with a quality to it, a weight, a held breath. And I could see that he felt it too. I could see it in the way he was sitting very still. I should go, I said. Probably, he said. Neither of us moved. Marcus, I know. I'm married to your best friend. I know that. So this, whatever this is, it can't be anything. I know, he said. I've known that for 3 years. Something settled in the room. The particular weight of two people acknowledging something they had both been carrying alone, in silence, for a very long time. How long? I asked. He looked at his hands for a moment. James's birthday, 4 years ago. You made that joke and you laughed. And I thought, oh. And then I spent the next 3 years being your husband's best friend. You were good at it. So were you. I'm going to go, I said. Okay. And tomorrow, this will be something we both know, and it won't change anything, because it can't. He looked at me for a long moment. Is that what you want? I thought about James, about the man who was in a Boston hotel room, trusting both of us completely. The way you trust people who have given you no reason not to. About 20 years of friendship. About the kind of damage that can't be undone. It's what I'm choosing, I said. There's a difference. He heard it. Okay. I stood, got my coat, walked to the door. I turned. For what it's worth, I'm glad I know that it wasn't just me. He looked at me. It was never just you, he said. I drove home. James called from Boston that night, cheerful about a panel he'd been on, happy in the uncomplicated way he gets when work is going well. I listened and laughed in the right places and asked the right questions. After I hung up, I lay in the dark for a long time. I thought about the specific price of the right decision, about how it doesn't feel like nothing, about how doing the right thing and feeling the cost of it aren't contradictions. They're just what it means to be a person who actually knows the difference between what they want and what they're willing to do. I chose the right thing. I know that. But I also know what I left in that apartment. And I think I will know it for a long time. I think that's how it's supposed to feel. Some things you carry, not because you have to, because they're worth carrying.